Hi, good day, everyone. It's me, Makiba, your sister in Christ. So today I wanted to bring a word of encouragement. We're living in a time where all of us are facing something in our life, whether it's financial, health reasons, whatever it is, all of us are going through something at some point in our life. And it's in those moments, sometimes, we tend to be stuck. It's when we're at our weakest, it's when we need some word of encouragement, something to strengthen us back. And I am here to bring this word of encouragement. Continue. I know it's hard, but continue to keep on pressing. Continue to believe God. Continue to have faith. Just continue, because God said in his word in Matthew 19:20-21, he said that if we have faith as small as a mustard seed, we can speak to that mountain and have that mountain be uprooted and cast into the sea. He said anything will be possible. So all we need to is just continue have faith and know that the mountains that are in our life will be uprooted. It will. We just have to keep on pressing. In prayer, we need to keep on believing, because God's word says that it will never return unto him void, that his word will go out and accomplish everything that he has set it out to. His word produces fruits. So we have to hold God to his word. We have to hold on to his promises. We have to believe that he will do exactly what he says he will do. And I just wanted to share a quick scripture, and that's in Matthew chapter 9, from verse 20 to 22. And it says, "Just then a woman who had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding came up behind him. She touched the fringe of his robe, for she thought, if I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Jesus turned around, and when he saw her, he said, 'Daughter, be encouraged. Your faith has made you well.' And the woman was healed at that moment." And we see in the Bible that they have so many scriptures that's concerning faith, and we have seen so many miracles unfold. We have seen where the lady with Elijah, when she had nothing left to eat and God multiplied the oils for her. We see so many different things that in scriptures of faith, of having faith in God, and the things that God has done for us. And so I just wanted to share a few of my testimonies as to the things that God has done for me. I remember there was a time when I had a tube that was deformed, and that was in my private area. It's a Bartholin's tube. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing the word correctly. And the doctors told me that the tube was completely deformed, and because it was deformed, it caused a blockage. So therefore, it ended up forming abscess, and that tube is to help produce moisture for the private area, and so it was blocked, and everything was backed up, so you end up forming a big abscess that it became so big that I was unable to walk. My private area was lopsided. It was like the size of a golf ball. I could not function. It was so painful. And I went to the doctor, and they cut it and drained the area for me. And I was in so much pain. And the doctor said to me that you're going to need to have surgery, because she said this thing is not going to go away. It's going to keep on coming back over and over and over and over, because the tube is deformed. So you're going to need surgery in order to fix it. And at that moment, I looked the doctor in her eyes, and I said to the doctor, I will not be doing any surgery, and this will not be coming back. I am going to be healed. And the doctor looked at me and laughed and said, we will see, because I am telling you, this thing will come back. It always does. And the only way to fix it is surgery. And I said to the doctor, you can say what you want, but I'm telling you, surgery is not a part of my portion. It's not a part of my life. I will not be doing any surgery and I will be healed. And I left that doctor's office that day. And it did come back. The abscess came back, and it came back 10 times worse. It was almost the size of a tennis ball. It was so bad. I was bedridden. I could not bathe. I could not take care of my son. I could not do anything. I had my friends that had to come over and help me. I had to lay in one position, and that was on my right side. I could not turn left to right. I couldn't lay on my back. I could not move. I had to stay in one position until my body would go numb. And then it will, start functioning again. I could feel feelings back in my body. Then it would go numb again. It was like that. And I laid in that position for 7 days. My dad was so upset with me. He wanted to call the ambulance. And I was there and I'm like, Dad, I'm not moving. I could not bathe, so I was smelling. My menstrual came. I could not put anything there for any form of protection because it was so bad. It was so bad, nothing could go there. I just had to, allow everything to just run in whatever direction. So you can imagine my situation. I was in a bad state and I was smelling really, really bad. But I was determined. I was not going to go to the hospital. I was not going to do that surgery because I completely believed that God was going to heal me. And I waited 7 days for that healing. 7 days I waited, and I did not give up because I was so determined. I'm like, I am not going to do surgery. God is going to heal me. And on the 7th day, I was in the room, and then all of a sudden, it's like this golden light filled the room. And I was like, wow. And the atmosphere became so pure. I felt so clean. It was so refreshing. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, what's going on here? And then I felt like someone was touching my area. So I started to saying, ow, ow, because it was hurting. I felt like someone was tugging on my area, like my private area was being worked on. And I kept saying, ow, ow. And I felt like this, someone moving around on my, I felt like literally like someone was performing something on my private area. And then after all of that, I felt a release. And then the abscess opened up. And then everything started gushing out. And I'm telling you, by the end of the day, it was if I was never sick. I was able to get up, take a shower, change and wash the sheets on the bed and sanitize my room, have it smelling fresh again. I was able to hold my son. I was able to function completely that day. I was so happy. It was such an amazing experience for me. So now the doctors, they schedule the appointment for me to have the surgery. So after this miracle that was unfold, I still had to go to the hospital to have surgery. I didn't want to go. So I went in and they had me laying down on the table and, had me about to sign that waiver. And when they went to check me, so the doctor could see the area that she needs to perform on, the doctor's like, what's going on? The doctor's like, you don't need surgery. There's nothing wrong with you. You're completely fine. And just like that, I got up off of the bed, and that day I did not have any surgery to do. And I'm telling you, the abscess never came back. And that tube started to function well. And after God performed on me that miracle, I never had problems like that ever again. The abscess never came back. Everything was perfectly fine. So I'm sharing this in hope that it will be of an encouragement to someone. And this is by no means me telling someone to not go and seek medical help. This is not me telling anyone to do this. I am just simply sharing what God did for me because I had faith. Just like that woman who bled, she spent so much money with going to doctors trying to get healed and nothing worked. All it did was just drain her pocket. But then there was Jesus. He was there. He had the ability to heal. And this woman believed that all she needed to do was just touch just the fringe of his robe, and that she would be healed. And because of her faith, Jesus healed her. And it was because of my faith, Jesus healed me. I did not accept what the doctor said. I rebuked what the doctor said, and I spoke healing words over my life. I said, I will not be doing surgery, and I will be healed. And I believed, and I waited. And it was that waiting was not an easy wait. I'm telling you, it was so bad. Just imagine being in so much. The pain was so excruciating. I could not move. I had to lie in one position for 7 days, and I was stinking. I had blood all over me. I could not be with my son. I could not care for myself. I could do nothing. And I stayed in that position for 7 days. And on the 7th day, God healed me. So this is an encouragement for someone. Continue to press on in faith because your miracle is coming. Continue to believe. Even if people think that you're crazy, it's okay. Continue to believe, because my dad thought I was crazy. Everybody was against me. Actually, my family cursed me out because I refused to go to the hospital. But God proved himself to be true, that he's a God of his word, a God of his promises. And because I was faithful to God, I had such faith in God, God rewarded me. Because the Bible said without faith, it is impossible to please God. And that day, my faith stand strong. And it stood strong for 7 days. God healed me. Because I always said surgery will never be a part of my portion. No, it will not. And God rewarded me for my faithfulness. There is so many other things that I could share. I could share when during the whole COVID thing a couple of years ago in 2020, when I was laid off from my job and I did not go a day hungry. God provided so much food for me and my son. And we gained weight. Well, I gained weight because I was trying out all different kinds of recipe. I was just cooking. There's so many things God did for me because I relied completely on God. My faith was completely in him. I believe he's my provider, just like he is my healer. And he provided for me. My car needed to be licensed and insured. And I said, God, I can't drive this car and it's not licensed and insured. It would be illegal. So God, I'm holding you to your word and I'm believing that you will make a way. It may not seem possible at this moment, but that's not for me to worry about what's impossible from what's not impossible. My only focus and the only requirement of me is to believe, to have faith that you will make everything work out for my good. So it's not for me to study about how it's going to be done. Is this even possible? Probably it's not. That's not my concern. My concern is just to have faith, to just believe that God will take care of me. And I remember a morning I went and I was praying. I was kneeling at my bedside and I was praying. And while I was praying, I was taken into a vision. And God showed me that my employer would pull up to where I was living. And bear in mind, I was still laid off, but my employer came, and in the vision, he came and he had a check, and he gave me a blank check. And when I came out of the vision, I'm like, God, my employer coming to, and he's going to give me a blank check? What does, like, huh? I even started, I'm like, am I seeing right? And then that same morning, my employer called me and said, Makiba, you home? I said, yes. He said, okay, I'm going to pass by you now and make sure you have a pen. He reached. I walked out with a pen in my hand, gave it to him, and he pulled out his checkbook. He put his signature on it and he gave me a blank check and tell me to go to Transport Board and to get my car license today. And I'm standing up there, I'm like, and the thing about it, while my employer was doing that, he had no idea what God had just shown me that same morning. Exactly what God showed me in the vision is exactly what happened. And then he pulled out another paper showing me that he had already insured my vehicle for me the day before. So he pulled out the paper and he said, there you go. Your vehicle has been insured. I insured it for you yesterday. Now here is a blank check. Go to Transport Board, fill in what needs to be filled in, and get your car licensed today. And then he tell me that I want you to start coming back to work from, whatever day he told me he wanted me to start coming back to work for. Listen, when I went back inside the house, I started screaming. I went on. I was, getting on in the house. I'm like, God, you really did this for me. Like, you really came through for me. You really did this. I'm telling you, I can stay here and give so much testimony as to all that God has done for me. I have so much testimonies of how God has been there for me. So much. To getting off my car, to protecting me from people trying to work witchcraft against me, my neighbor to be exact, to providing for me food, but I didn't have anything to eat, to healing me from not having to do surgery. The list is so much. But I just want to make the video short because I would like so many things God has done for me. It will not fit in this video. But just be encouraged. Just be encouraged. Don't give up. Continue to seek God and God will reward you for your faithfulness. Continue to believe that He's your provider. He's your healer. He's your protector. Listen, God has protected me when I was held at gunpoint. When someone came to try to rape me, God protected me from that. God delivered me from accidents. He protected me from getting into major accidents. God has protected me when people try to harm me and try to slander me. God protected me. When I had to leave my job because God told me do not bow, and I did not bow, and I had to resign from my job, God provided a way for me to start my own business. God is a rewarder to those who are faithful to him. He will reward you for your faithfulness. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. God bless each and every one of you.